Emotional for me, but we need to move on. Yeah, so rest in peace. We're moving on. Right now, we have a guest. We want to look at the enforcement of ban on the single-use plastic. We started yesterday, and this is going to be the part 2. There might also be a part 3 of it, because we need to look at all sides of this issue. We know that Lagos State generates 900 tons annually of all of these things, but I also know that they're also making some revenues from recycle bin. But today we have a guest in the studio that will let us know the effects and why this is necessary or why it's not necessary or how they can go about it. The ban starts from yesterday, the 1st of July. That's where the ban, took off from, and all eyes have been extra looking at who will default from this. But we have a guest in the studio. We have Dr. Bayonle Olusegun in the studios, our guest this morning. Dr. Bayonle, good morning to you.
Good morning for having me.
Good morning. Well.
Good morning, Lagos State.
Yes, good morning. Because you're an expert with these things, we want you to help us out with the ban. We need some education about it, and I want to find out from you, what do you make of all of this?
Thank you very much for having me here. So it's a very serious issue that has been dissected before the government just made the pronouncement. Before every pronouncement, there have been some think tank forums behind the scene that have deliberated and they have weighed the ifs and the buts before the pronouncement. This ban of single-use plastic in Lagos State is something that has been should have done a year or two before. So we have seen the impacts of this waste in the environment, and those are the things that actually questioned or necessary the government to actually make such decisions. What are the impacts? What are the reactions? We are expecting that it has started yesterday, and we are expecting that there will be reactions. The Manufacturing Association of Nigeria has come up with the reactions that people have put a lot of money into it. There are some sector of the environment that are living on these single-use plastics. Yes. So those people will lose their jobs. That is what it cut off. So that is why man is of the position that this should be reversed. But that is a school of thought. Even revenue laws, even to the government, because most of those plastics have been manufactured in Lagos State here, and some of them is not just for Lagos market alone. So some are exported to neighboring states and even outside the countries. So, and the government inevitably are taking tax one way or the other from those guys. So all those ones will come down. That is a school of thought. But the other school of thought is the environmental angle of it. What are the positive impacts of this ban? And number one thing that we have to say, that is from your point, is let us also understand what is plastic. Plastic is a polypropylene or polymeric substance that were initiated by necessity. So the first known plastic came into being by a Belgian chemist known as Leo Benlans in 1907. That's over 100 years. So they actually developed this to make to key into the open ends of packaging. And once it started, it now started expanding after the World War II. So this is why the plastic started actually getting bigger and bigger. And before you know, we have already taken it, because it has a special characteristics that it can easily be turned into other types. So we have several types of plastics, but not all those. So we have the PVC that are used for pipes and other things. We have the polyethylenes, we have the polypropylenes. So these are the types, the polypropylenes are the types that are affected now. So they are the ones that are now used for these single-use plastics. The nylon bags, the plastic cups, the plastic utensils that you can just use one time. So why could government have thought of this? Because I've already talked about the positive aspect of that plastic, why we are using it, but we have to talk of the impacts that the plastic has in the environment. The components, the chemical composition of plastics are made of strong bonds that stays in the environment for a minimum of 40 years. Imagine the nylon bag you just bought for a box of 10 naira, and you eat that bones and you throw this thing away. So that is the total end of that plastics. And this can linger in the environment for another 4 years. The rain comes and washes this thing into our drainage systems, and it blocks in Lagos State, that we know that ordinarily Lagos was below the sea level. So when rain comes and watch this thing, it blocks the drainages, and in some areas it could cause flooding. So, but one of the ones that are not even blocked the drainages, it moves into the oceans and becomes a serious environmental issue in the oceans. So it becomes a serious environmental issue into the ecosystems. We have the aquatic ecosystems that eat on this. So when they eat, this one clog into their systems and it started degrading them. So it started affecting that aquatic ecosystems. In the physical too, you can see the anesthetic. When you go to some landfills, you just see this plastic anywhere. So the problem we are actually having in this place, that is the scope of thought of some people, because when we talk about plastic pollutions now, they are saying it's the problems of the underdeveloped Asians and African countries.
Okay.
In Europe, you see, it's not maybe they are not using plastics, but there is a standard management systems in place there to actually monitor this waste. So in Germany, that we are, for instance, we have been, they put a system in place that once you are buying a PET of 40 cents, the drinks inside the PET cost 15 cents. The PET itself costs 35 cents. So when you use your 40 cents to buy Coke, you drink the liquid, nobody will tell you will not throw away the plastic. You keep the plastic and take it back to the just to the supermarket. So they will
gather it.
There is a system there. You just throw it inside.
They will recycle immediately.
They recycle. Just throw it inside it, and you collect your 35 cents.
Okay, I would like to continue, because I can see Rio wanting to ask you a question. I can see Pink Republic Barrister also is ready to ask a question. But I want us to take the Commissioner Tokumbo Wahab, what he said first, so that we will hear from him. Then Rio and Pink Republic can ask a question. So we'll take what the Commissioner said. Let's have the Commissioner.
You've said to us yourself that it's the proactive steps we have taken. We have also waited 18 months for those manufacturers and distributors to key into the alternatives. We have also factored what you said, the socioeconomic impact, into the narrative ab initio. Hence, we gave enough windows, and then we carried out the advocacy. However, because of this socioeconomic narrative, we are not adding the popular sachet water to the mix. And it's a deliberate policy that we are going to phase that out with time, so that we can buy back the waste from those sachet water nylons with the extended producer responsibility funds. So these are steps we have taken on our own. But the bigger picture is this. As a coastal state, are you saying we should check our own responsibility to our own citizens? Single-use plastics will cluster our systems. Let's even leave the health factor. How about the impact on our drainage system? How about the impact on our aquatic life? So we have to make a very strong choice. And the choice we've made is what we just announced today, to enforce. This announcement was not just about today. We started the narrative from 2022, to be precise, when the decision was made in Abuja. And all we had to just do was, by 2024, we chose to take the mode that is most dangerous to us, the most harmful, styrofoam.
Welcome back. Well, we're still with our guest in the studio here, but before we went on that break, I know that Rio was trying to say something about it, trying to ask him questions. Yeah, Rio.
Yes, so I understand at the point in time it was climate change reason when they were talking about the styrofoam. It was all about climate change and how it affects people's health and all. But I don't understand. We are in a country and a state where we are short of employment, and then having to cancel this will not just cause unemployment rate again. but then it's going to affect the likes of the Abukis and some other people that do not necessarily have to have any certificates to get jobs. And this, what is the implication of this? It returns some people back to the street, it increases terrorism, it increases criminal, and all those guys. But I believe one thing, like you said, when the system of a country is sane, when the system of a country is good, we might not need to start, enforcing such a kind of movement on people because we are used to it. One of the problems we have in this country when they remove that fuel subsidy is because we are used to government subsidizing prices for us, and all of a sudden they just remove room, and that will cause a lot of problems. And I want to ask, do you think Lagos State government is ready for the implication of this? Because a lot of people, number one, will not listen. There will be a lot of enforcement, and yet the enforcement agencies, some of them to get to take bribes for you to allow you to do this and that, and it makes the system worse. But I just want to ask if Lagos State government is ready for the consequences of this movement.
Thank you very much for that question. For Commissioner himself to come over and say this is not his thought process alone. It has been because environment is a very difficult thing to manage. It's not something that you say, okay, let me manage my environment alone and disturb others. You have an issue where you have a house and you fence your house, and the neighbor is now burning waste in his own compound. It's his own compound, I mean.
Yeah.
But the smoke
yes,
leaves the compounds and disturbs you. So that is why environmental issue is not something that you said, okay, let me manage the way I like. There is something called World Environment Day. Every June 5th of every year is a mark for these discussions. And for this year, it was plastic waste. How do you get it around? Because the impact of plastic is not just within you alone. It moves to the oceans and it kills the ocean seas. It moves all around more than expected. So that is why Lagos State have to be serious. To answer your question about the willingness of implementations, that depends on the owners of the government. If they actually mean what they have said, I think the ministers of environment have to come into fore now. They have to stand up and delegate people to actually do this. First thing they have to do is they have to reorientate. I've started hearing radio jingles, but that is not enough, as we said. You have to go to the core and let people see why they have to do what they are doing. And they must be ready to provide alternatives. Alternatives will come up, paper and other things because society cannot stop. So there must be alternatives. So government have to see a way to provide ways for the alternatives to be available.
The closest government to the people is the local government. And in such a movement, the local government is very, very significant. Because you remember those days where there used to be all these environmental officers. Yeah. They come to your house every last Saturday of the month, and if they find your gutter dirty, they lock down your house. Those guys are not functioning again, and it's as a result of local government not functioning. And yet there are local government allocations for all of those things. And I believe this is where you can use local government, because Sanwo-Olu and the commissioner will not be getting inside Agility my 12, but the Ikosi Sherry local governments can always get to do that. The councillors, these are time you need them to work, but it doesn't look like they are carrying them along.
I think the president is changing the status quo. For a long time, as someone has said, we have already forgotten about the local government. We have seen governors that will just give pay salaries and that is it. So, but now the local government autonomy is back, and we can see now that there is seriousness from the part of the Supreme Court to actually support them. So when they started paying them money, people have to start asking them questions, because where you put your money, you have to see how it is being spent. So I think with the re-emergence of local government autonomy in Lagos State, this will now be, because as I said, local government are the people that are closer to it, and they are the ones that actually monitors waste. Another basic thing we have to talk about in this implementation is that plastic itself is not the problem, it's management. I just had an example of what happened in Germany.
Yes.
So where people are producing plastic, but there is a management system in place to actually check it. So those things Lagos can come and be at fault, because even to some environmentalists, we are not still comfortable that the plastic ban does not affect what we call pure water. Pure water is a serious and it's a very one use. You just take the water and you throw it away, and it stays there for another, and it's a very thicker version of the plastic that can stay for another 50, 100 years, even more than the nylon bag we're talking about. So government have to put measures in place now. If the pure water and the other thing is 60, they have to invest in infrastructure for that, so that this can be
okay. Just a question.
You keep mentioning the pure water. You said the ones that are lighter are the ones that are being banned. Right. So the pure water nylon is thicker.
It's thicker, yeah.
So let me tell you something I found out about this whole thing. We keep pushing the blame on the importers, but we are not speaking about the irresponsible people that would take it and throw it on the floor. Remember, they've spoken in this Lagos state that if they eat, you should dispose, even inside the buses, right? Now, how come you be driving, you see a car, needs car and everything, and they just believe that they must throw away their corn, the roasted corn, the banana peel outside, and they don't want to like curtail. Let me tell you, around this road safety, the road safety people were there, and one man comfortably threw out all the corn he ate, and nobody said anything. I want to be seeing people being chased. Do you understand? With cars, because when you say they'll say it don't pass, but they stood there. So I don't want us to be attacking genuine business owners, because this thing will increase criminality. If you say you want to ban pure water, no problem, but just put in your mind, say pure water, nylon water, or I say ice water. We use back and come back, which we don't want. No, this thing, I want you to understand something. I said something to you before we came on air, that the paper straw, as I was using it, it has started peeling off and entering my mouth. That is another danger to me. I hope you understand. And before I knew it, it was already stopped in my. So what are you telling me? That are you saving my life for the environment? So I want to understand.
Doctor, the last thing that government have to do, they have to increase investment in that. Okay. So the monitoring systems have to be very clear.
And we have cameras everywhere.
So
they don't even have to chase.
And there must be training. Okay. Somebody said before I come on board that charity begins at home. If you are trained, if there is orientation, if there is awareness, and we started teaching even in the primary, secondary schools how to segregate waste from the source. And these are the people, the primary school students are the ones that graduate and become societal people.
Okay,
so
we need to
awareness and
sorry, let me
your final word. We need to go now. But just you wanted to say something.
Yes, I want to say something.
We need to go
it's
now.
Not only the Europeans that do that in their country. Rwanda and Gambia too also do. No, they've been doing that for a long time. I don't think I enter Gambia with nylon paper bag. Then even the Philippines, you see this thing they are complaining because they are like they have coastal environment just like our own. So it's still that nylon they relied on because they can't give you pet bottles. They'll pour the drink inside the nylon.
We need to go now. We need to go now. We are going to bring back Dr. Bayonle Olusegun. We're going to bring you back because we're going to take it for some time so that people know why they are doing what they're doing, and also the producers we also know because we know that there are impacts on the producers. So we're going to bring you back so we can talk more on this. But I want to thank you for coming on this program.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah, that's Dr. Bayonle Olusegun. Well, we'll go on this break now, and when we come back, we want to look at the effects of the economy challenges on construction sector. But we know that when we talk construction sector, we're looking at something very important, and we're going to dive into real estate. But let's go on a break, and we'll be right back.